What if the very ground beneath your feet, in a land steeped in millennia of history, still hums with the echoes of ancient sorrows and unspoken curses? What if the magnificent ruins that stand as silent testaments to an empire's glory are, in fact, porous membranes, thin veils between our tangible world and the restless spirits of those who built, fought, and died within their colossal embrace? Imagine the sun-baked stones of the Colosseum, not merely as an arena of ancient sport, but as a crucible where countless souls met their brutal end, their final screams and the clash of steel forever imprinted upon the very fabric of existence. Are you ready to hear whispers carried on the Mediterranean wind? Secrets murmured by the lapping waters of Venetian canals, and the profound, silent lamentations emanating from tombs older than Rome itself? Welcome to our world, our stories, where we unravel the legends that cling to Italy like a shroud of mist and memory, legends of Roman ghosts and ancient Italian curses, tales that challenge the very definition of reality and linger long after the final word is spoken. Tonight, we journey into the shadowed corners where history and folklore intertwine, where the past is not merely remembered, but felt, a living presence in the heart of a nation. The Crimson Arena's spectral chorus, echoes from the Colosseum and Rome's restless dead. Our journey begins, as it must, in the eternal city, Rome, a metropolis built upon layers of empire, where every cobblestone seems to hum with untold stories, and every crumbling archway might serve as a gateway to the past. But few places in this city of ghosts are as profoundly haunted as the Flavian amphitheatre, the Colosseum, that colossal testament to both human ingenuity and unfathomable cruelty. Picture it, if you will, the setting sun casting long, skeletal shadows across its ancient tiers, the evening air growing cool and heavy, carrying the faint, metallic scent of something long gone, yet somehow still present. For over 4 centuries, this arena was a stage for spectacles of unimaginable violence, gladiatorial combats, naval battles, wild beast hunts, and executions on a scale that defies modern comprehension. Millions of lives, both human and animal, were brutally extinguished here, their blood seeping into the very earth, their terror and agony saturating the air. It is said, not merely in hushed whispers among Roman locals, but by countless eyewitnesses and historians, that on moonless nights, particularly when a low fog rolls in from the Tiber, the Colosseum reawakens. Have you ever stood alone within its vast ellipse, feeling an inexplicable chill, a sudden, profound sense of being watched, even though no one is there? Many claim to hear the faint roar of unseen crowds, the ghostly clash of swords, the desperate cries of the dying, and the guttural snarls of beasts long extinct. There are accounts of spectral gladiators still locked in an eternal struggle, their phantom forms shimmering in the dim light, their movements mirroring the deadly choreography of their final moments. Some have reported witnessing the translucent figure of a lion or bear, pacing restlessly in the ancient substructures beneath the arena, its unseen claws scratching against the phantom sand, forever awaiting the gates to open. Perhaps the most poignant are the stories of the Noxi, the condemned, who are thrown to the beasts or forced into unwinnable fights. Their tortured spirits, unable to find peace, are said to wander the upper galleries, their silent, desperate pleas for mercy forever echoing in the vast, empty space. Even the very atmosphere within the Colosseum is described by some as being uniquely charged, heavy with sorrow and residual violence, a powerful psychic imprint left by countless deaths. This isn't just about individual ghosts. It's about an entire collective of suffering, a vast bleeding wound in the fabric of time, where the energy of an ancient horror persists, a living memorial not just to Roman power, but to its insatiable thirst for blood. The earth itself here feels unquiet, as if unable to digest the sheer volume of human agony it absorbed over centuries, forever exhaling the sighs of its tormented past. Beyond the Colosseum, the spectres of imperial Rome permeate every corner of the city. Consider the Forum Romanum, now a sprawling ruin, but once the vibrant, tumultuous heart of an empire. Imagine walking among the shattered columns of the Temple of Saturn, where once the wealth of Rome was guarded, or near the Rostra, where Cicero's impassioned speeches echoed. Here, it is not uncommon to feel the brush of an unseen toga, or to hear the faint murmur of Latin voices carried on the wind, the ghosts of senators, plebeians, and emperors continuing their eternal debates and machinations. The ancient Romans themselves were deeply superstitious about the dead, recognizing a class of restless spirits known as the lemures or larvae, malevolent, unappeased ghosts of those who died violently or without proper burial rites, doomed to wander the earth and torment the living. To appease them, they held the festival of the Lemuria in May, where heads of households would perform rituals to banish these entities, walking barefoot, throwing black beans, and clashing bronze pots to drive them away. This deep-seated fear and respect for the unquiet dead tells us that the Romans understood, long before us, that a violent end or an unjust fate could tether a soul to the mortal realm. There are countless tales of haunted Roman villas, where the spectre of a betrayed wife, a murdered emperor, or a tormented slave still manifests, reliving their final moments. The Domus Aurea, Nero's opulent and infamous golden house, is whispered to be particularly vexed, not just by the ghost of the mad emperor himself, but by the myriad souls who suffered under his tyrannical reign, their silent screams trapped within the earth that eventually swallowed his grand palace. Even the subterranean catacombs, vast labyrinthine tunnels where early Christians and Jews buried their dead, are not always places of peaceful rest. While many claim to feel a profound spiritual serenity there, others report a chilling sense of being overwhelmed by the sheer number of interred bodies, a feeling of claustrophobia that transcends the physical, as if the very air is thick with the presence of countless souls, each one a life, a story, a memory whispering from the eternal dark. The Via Appia Antica, the ancient Roman road, stretching out into the countryside, is another artery of the dead, lined with tombs and monuments. Drivers and pedestrians have reported seeing ghostly figures walking its ancient stones at night, legionaries perhaps, still marching on an endless campaign, or travellers cut short, their journeys never truly ending. These are not merely stories, they are the living history of a city that never truly lets go of its past, a testament to the enduring power of human experience, even beyond the veil of death. The pervasive feeling is that Rome, with its unparalleled depth of history and human drama, has generated an inexhaustible supply of spectral residents, each one a shard of a grand, violent, and ultimately tragic mosaic. Veiled whispers of the lagoon, Venetian secrets, watery graves, and the island of shadows. If the Roman earth itself exhales the sighs of its tormented past, then Venice, that fantastical city born from the embrace of the sea, carries its secrets and sorrows on the lapping currents of its canals and within the mist that often shrouds its ancient palazzi. Imagine yourself drifting in a gondola on a moonless night. The only sounds the soft splash of the oar and the distant, mournful cry of a gull. The air is thick with the scent of salt, damp stone, and something else, an ancient, melancholic perfume of decay and untold stories. Venice, with its unique relationship with water, has always been a city of veils and illusions, where the line between reality and the spectral is impossibly thin. The labyrinthine alleys, the hidden courtyards, the whispering bridges. Every corner seems to guard a secret, and many of these secrets are soaked in tragedy, betrayal, and the chill of the grave. The Doge's Palace, an architectural marvel on the surface, conceals a history of political intrigue, torture, and desperate imprisonment within its formidable walls. Think of the Leads, the infamous Piombi prisons directly under the lead roof, where summer heat was unbearable and winter cold was bone-chilling. Prisoners here, like the legendary Casanova, were not only physically tormented, but psychologically broken. It's said that the spirits of those who suffered and died within these confines, particularly those who were unjustly condemned or driven mad, still wander its vast halls and dark cells. Tourists and guards alike have reported inexplicable cold spots, the faint clatter of chains, and the ghostly scent of despair in the deepest recesses of the prison. The Bridge of Sighs, which connects the palace to the new prison, is named for the final sighs of convicts who, upon crossing it, caught their last glimpse of beautiful Venice before facing judgment or execution. These final, heartbreaking exhalations, charged with profound regret and fear, are believed to have left an indelible spiritual imprint on the bridge, making it a conduit for lingering sorrow. Some claim to see fleeting translucent figures, forever pausing to gaze upon the lagoon, their faces etched with eternal melancholy. Yet, of all the places in Venice that are synonymous with chilling lore, none rival the small, isolated island of Poveglia. Imagine, if you dare, stepping onto its overgrown shores, the earth beneath your feet feeling strangely uneven, almost as if it breathes. Poveglia, a tiny teardrop-shaped island in the Venetian lagoon, holds a history so utterly steeped in death, disease, and despair that it has earned the chilling moniker the Island of Ghosts, or even the entrance to hell. Its tragic saga began in the Roman era, serving as a refuge from invaders. But its true horror unfolded during the Black Death. When the plague ravaged Europe, Venice, desperate to contain the contagion, began exiling its sick and dying citizens to Poveglia. Tens of thousands, perhaps as many as 160,000 victims, were abandoned on its shores, left to die alone, their bodies thrown into mass graves, often still alive, and covered with quicklime. Imagine the sheer volume of suffering, the collective screams of agony, the desperate pleas for mercy from those discarded as mere refuse, left to slowly perish under the indifferent sky. The very soil of Poveglia is said to be composed of over 50% human remains, a horrifying testament to the scale of death it witnessed. The island's dark history didn't end there. In the early 20th century, it was converted into an asylum for the mentally ill, a place notorious for its inhumane practices. Rumors abound of a sadistic director who performed lobotomies and horrific experiments on patients, driving them to madness and often to their deaths. It is said was eventually driven mad himself by the island's relentless torment and jumped to his death from the asylum's bell tower, or was perhaps pushed by the very spirits he tormented. Visitors who have managed to breach the island's forbidden shores speak of an overwhelming sense of dread, a palpable weight in the air, the unsettling silence broken only by the eerie whisper of the wind through decaying buildings. They report hearing disembodied voices, agonized moans, phantom screams, and the distant ringing of the defunct bell tower. Some claim to have been physically touched, pushed, or had objects thrown at them by unseen hands. The island is considered so profoundly cursed, so saturated with suffering, that local fishermen refuse to fish in its waters, fearing they might dredge up human bones or disturb the restless spirits. The very thought of it sends shivers down the spine. A place where the earth itself is a graveyard, and the air vibrates with the echoes of unimaginable suffering, a place truly beyond the veil of peace. The Curse of Poveglia is not just a story. It feels like an inherent part of its desolate landscape, a warning against the profound cruelty humanity is capable of, and the lingering spiritual consequences. Beyond Poveglia, the pervasive Venetian belief in the Malocchio, the evil eye, adds another layer of spectral dread. This ancient curse, believed to be cast by envious or malevolent glances, can bring misfortune, illness, or even death upon the victim. Locals still wear protective charms, such as the cornicello, a horn-shaped amulet, or make the traditional hand gesture, the mano cornuta, to ward off its effects. The canals themselves, the arteries of this watery city, are not immune to the supernatural. Many gondoliers tell hushed tales of ghostly figures emerging from the mist on moonlit nights, spectral gondolas manned by unseen oarsmen, or the mournful laments of drowned lovers echoing from beneath the ancient bridges. Venice's unique topography and its history of hidden vices, masquerades, and clandestine meetings have fostered an atmosphere where secrets thrive, and the supernatural feels utterly intertwined with the mundane. The very foundations of its buildings, perpetually kissed by the ebb and flow of the tide, seem to hold on to the memories of all who walked their halls, their whispers carried on the salt-laced breeze, a profound symphony of forgotten lives and enduring spectral presences. The silent earth speaks, Etruscan tombs, ancient rites, and primordial curses. From the watery embrace of Venice, we now journey inland, away from the glittering surface of Roman grandeur, to a land cloaked in even deeper antiquity, a landscape that whispers of a civilization that predates Rome. Itself, Etruria. Imagine rolling hills crowned by ancient towns, vineyards stretching into the hazy distance, and beneath it all, a silent subterranean world of the dead, carved meticulously from the living rock. This is the realm of the Etruscans, a people shrouded in mystery, whose profound connection to the afterlife and the unseen world left an indelible mark on the very earth. Their greatest legacies are their necropolises, vast cities of the dead, like those at Tarquinia and Cerveteri, where thousands of elaborate tombs lie hidden beneath tumuli or carved directly into cliffs. Stepping into an Etruscan tomb is not merely entering an archaeological site. It is a profound journey into another dimension, a realm where the boundary between life and death was understood and revered in ways we can barely comprehend. The air inside these ancient chambers is cool still, carrying the faint scent of damp earth and millennia of undisturbed silence. Many tombs are adorned with vibrant frescoes, depicting banquets, dances, hunting scenes, and journeys to the underworld. These are not morbid depictions of death, but celebrations of life and intricate guides for the deceased's passage to the next world, reflecting the Etruscans' belief in a lively, continuous existence beyond the grave. Yet, within this serene beauty lies a powerful, ancient force, the undisturbed dead. The Etruscans were masters of divination, of interpreting omens, and of communicating with the divine. Their priests, the haruspices, could read the future in the entrails of sacrificed animals, and their fulguriatores interpreted lightning strikes. This deep understanding of cosmic forces extended profoundly to their reverence for the dead. They believed that the deceased continued to influence the living, and that proper burial rites were paramount to ensure their peaceful passage and prevent their spirits from lingering as malevolent forces. Imagine the chilling implications. Disturbing an Etruscan tomb is not merely an act of desecration. It is, in their ancient worldview, an act of cosmic imbalance, a direct affront to the intricate order they meticulously maintain between the worlds. And this brings us to the very real possibility of Etruscan curses, potent and primordial, aimed at protecting their sacred resting places. While specific written curses are rarer than in Roman or Egyptian contexts, the very act of constructing such elaborate protected tombs, often sealed with massive stones and hidden within the earth, speaks volumes about their intent to deter intruders. Ancient accounts and archaeological discoveries hint at the Etruscans' use of ritualistic magic to safeguard their dead. Imagine a tomb, undisturbed for 2.5 millennia, its occupants resting peacefully, perhaps even aware of the living world above. Then, the silence is broken by the heavy thud of pickaxes, the scraping of tools, and the intrusion of light into eternal darkness. What dormant energies might awaken? What ancient vows might be stirred from their long slumber? There are stories, often whispered among local excavators and scholars, of strange occurrences following the unauthorized disturbance of certain Etruscan sites. Unexplained illnesses, sudden accidents, persistent bad luck, or even chilling encounters with unseen forces are attributed to the wrath of the ancient dead, or the activation of long-forgotten protective spells. One such chilling tale speaks of a group of treasure hunters in the 19th century who illegally opened a particularly grand and undisturbed tomb near Tarquinia, rumoured to belong to a powerful Etruscan noble and a priestess. They were said to have found incredible riches, but upon their return to civilization, a string of inexplicable misfortunes befell them. One man went mad, claiming to be haunted by shadowy figures with burning eyes. Another suffered a series of devastating financial losses, and a third met a sudden, gruesome end in a freak accident. Each fate, so the legend goes, seemed eerily connected to the iconography found within the tomb or the specific items they stole. It wasn't merely coincidence. It was the slow, insidious unraveling of their lives, orchestrated by an ancient, unforgiving power. The Etruscan belief system, deeply rooted in the earth and the passage of time, implies that curses laid by their priests and necromancers would not be fleeting. They would be slow-burning, relentless, weaving themselves into the tapestry of generations, affecting not just the transgressor, but their lineage, a testament to the profound respect and fear they held for the sanctity of death. The silence of these tombs is not emptiness. It is a pregnant silence, filled with the weight of ancient beliefs, potent magic, and the quiet vigilance of those who sleep, forever waiting, forever protected by the very earth itself. To enter these spaces is to step into a timeless realm, where the veil between worlds is gossamer thin, and the whisper of the forgotten dead might just be audible if you listen closely enough. And perhaps, even more chillingly, their silent vigilance might extend far beyond the tombs, touching those who walk above ground, unknowingly disturbing their profound rest. So, we return to the present, our journey through Rome's phantom arenas, Venice's watery graves, and Etruria's silent catacombs complete, yet in many ways just beginning. Have you felt the subtle chill in the air, the prickle on your skin, the inexplicable sense of being watched as these tales unfolded? Perhaps you've heard the distant echoes of a gladiator's roar, the mournful bell of Poveglia, or the whisper of an ancient language carried on the breeze from a forgotten tomb. These are not merely stories passed down through generations. They are living chronicles, testaments to the enduring power of human fear, belief, and the profound, often terrifying mysteries that lie just beyond the reach of our understanding. The boundary between the living and the dead in Italy, steeped in such ancient magic and profound history, is not a solid wall, but a shimmering, permeable membrane, easily blurred by a shift in the light, a drop in temperature, or a story told with enough conviction. And as you walk through the sun-drenched streets of Rome, drift across the Venetian lagoon, or gaze upon the rolling hills of Tuscany, remember, the past is not truly past. It breathes alongside us, a constant, silent presence, forever reminding us that some secrets are meant to remain buried, and some curses, once invoked, can never truly be broken. For in this land, where the dead outnumber the living, the whispers from the other side are never far away, and the ancient spirits are always listening.